Good evening, everybody. This is Under the Shell 14, and we're together this evening with Wyatt and my admin for our Discord server, Pavel, who's pretty knowledgeable about the bands and recent releases. So, this is what we're going to talk about tonight. And how are you, gentlemen?
Hi, I'm very well, considering that I'm back from the COVID situation like you.
Yeah, you were
Oh,
sick
you
like
had
me, right?
COVID?
Yeah, dude, we almost have our COVID synced.
Oh
Yeah,
my.
we were sick at the same time.
Yeah,
Oh,
almost the same
wow.
time.
Oh,
And
how was your experience? Was it really bad?
well, not that bad. I only had high temperature, but lots of my friends who already had it said that I was pretty lucky because many people have complications and they go to the hospital. And Bulgaria is famous with its
Healthcare.
healthcare. Yeah, the highest priority is healthcare here. Of course, I'm saying this.
We're joking. It's
we're
awful.
joking. Yeah.
Oh, is
It's
it? I was
terrible.
gonna ask, is it good or is it bad?
Oh
What's
man,
the-
it's abysmal.
Dude, we're
Oh,
talking about
no.
Bulgaria, yeah, and specifically in my town, our situation is one of the worst because our only hospital in the town has most COVID-infected people at one building in the entire country. Even Sofia doesn't have that many in one building. We have over 200 in one building.
Oh my God, that's
which is
terrible.
insane, yeah, and only 2 doctors and 3 nurses are handling the whole unit, which is insane and unhumane.
Eastern
But-
Europe, yo.
Yeah, welcome.
Eastern Europe, yo.
Exactly.
Beautiful.
Welcome to the Wild East.
Yeah,
Uh,
where you have to survive every day. The healthcare system.
yeah, everybody's trying to kill you. In Australia, everything
Yeah.
is trying to kill you. Here is the people.
Here's the people.
Here's the system and everywhere.
Yeah. How are you, Wyatt? How are you doing?
I'm fantastic, man. Today's been super busy, but yeah, I just got done a video. I was guesting on Lindsay's channel, so we're talking about So apparently, for the December issue of Vogue magazine, of course, like the highest magazine in fashion, Harry Styles did the spread, and he dressed in a dress in several of the pictures. Not all of them though. Some of them he was wearing a skirt, and then one of them he had pants with a dress over top of the pants, and there was a lot of outrage caused by this. I guess in my world, there's no outrage, of course, because for God's sakes, like there's guys wearing dresses all over the place when it comes to the fringe, especially in the arts.
Yeah.
But in the mainstream media, I guess there was a bit of an outrage associated with this. So Lindsay had to do a video on it to defend Harry and be like, hey, like it's not a big deal, and you don't really have much. Like I don't think personally anybody who it'd be like me. It'd be like me trying to speak educated about fashion. I mean, like I can dress myself,
Yeah.
but outside of that, I'm a musician, and the only thing I really have a true right to discuss in deep detail is music, is what I actually create, what I spend my hours on. So the fact that so many people were upset about this pissed me off, and I thought, hey, I want to be in that video. Let me talk some smack. So
I want to run.
that's right, and that's what we did. I just got done doing that. So yeah, now I'm here.
We gotta fight for our rights to wear a dress.
Exactly, that's right, 100%, my man, 100%. Well, one of the things that I said to Lindsay in the video was back when I was in grade 6, I went to the mom with my mall for back to school shopping, and it was the first year where I took my mom into, actually it was grade 5, and it was the first year I took my mom into a girls store to buy clothes, and she was like, what are we doing here? I'm like,
Wow.
well, I want to get skinny jeans because that's what all the musicians that I listen to, they all wear
Oh,
skinny
this-
jeans, and you can't, at the time you couldn't buy skinny jeans in the guys section. Now, for fuck's sakes, you can only buy skinny jeans in the guys section, but back then you couldn't. You had to go and buy female clothing, and ever since then I've been wearing, like, my favorite camouflage sweater that I wore in the last couple of videos posted to my channel. That's a XL plus size, bought in the women's section of a
Really?
Walmart. Yeah, of course. I wear whatever the hell I see that inspires me because I'm
Yeah,
an
of
artist.
course.
I'm allowed to do whatever I want when it comes to stuff like that. Of course, we
Yeah.
all are, but not all of us take advantage of that right. So yeah, I wanted to bring that up and be like, hey, shut the fuck up. You know, not a big deal. He looks fantastic. God, I wish I looked that good in a dress.
Damn. By the way, what's happened with your drum covers, bro? You haven't uploaded anything in the, I don't know, last couple of weeks.
What, a man can't take a break? Come on.
A man's gotta do what a man's gotta do.
Let me, it's been 3 weeks. So for most of this year, I was releasing one a month. So it's actually not outside of the norm for me.
Yeah.
I think what people are getting used to is for a while there I did one for every week. I think it was the last 5 in a row I did one a week.
Yeah.
But that's actually not the norm. Usually it's one a month.
Yeah.
So
You get used to the good stuff easily.
yeah, thank you so much, Dimitar.
Weekly cover, you spoiled them so much.
Yeah.
Now it's not weekly. Well, I was joking only because Dimitar is on a hot streak and
I'm on a
he said
kill
he's-
streak.
Yeah, he's shooting videos almost daily as
I was about to say I dare not compete with Dimitar. There's no way I'd catch up.
Yeah.
Well, you're at a place where I'm yet to arrive to, so
Yeah.
you can
That's true.
afford that.
Yes, sir. Gotta recharge the battery, you know.
All right,
Yeah.
so let's talk business. First off,
Okay.
I think Wyatt, you reacted to pretty much all of the Bring Me Horizon stuff, right? We can talk about it.
Yes, I did. And in fact, today, the day we're taping this, the final reaction, which is Dear Diary, will be going live.
And is the last one?
No. Today's the day we're releasing it.
Oh,
This
it's
last one.
okay,
Oh,
okay.
Yeah.
Yep. So we'll have the last one posted today, and then we're all done with the record. I mean, there's 2 that we didn't actually react to, but one of them is the song with Amy in it, and it's like,
Yeah.
I don't
It's
know. It's
pretty
just
soft.
such. Yeah, it's. I would just sit there, you know. It's like.
Yeah.
Yeah, I got a lot of hate for that one.
Well, yeah.
Because
Well,
the whole song, I was just expecting something to happen.
yes.
And when it didn't, I got kind of upset.
me too, man. I was also upset, and because I don't know if you Dimitri have told you, we have a Bulgarian Metalcore Society Facebook group, and there I'm pretty active. Dare to say the most active member. And when the album dropped, I also wanted to comment on it because those who know me in that group know that I'm a big hater on Bring the Horizon, their latest albums. And when they released this EP, I was amazed, really liked the EP. And of course, we have a girl which is a huge fan of Emily and Evanescence, a member of that Facebook group. And we had some talks, and dude, she's the only one who can explain to you that song in a way that you realize how awesome is the song. Because everybody expects some heavy or some mixture of Emily's strong voice, but in the end,
It doesn't even matter.
It doesn't even matter. and Ole, and they both explain their parts of the songs, and it all fits. But if you don't know about these posts, and if you just listen to it, it's like some high school drama tragedy,
Yeah.
love song.
Yeah, totally.
But most of the people like it seems.
What I noticed throughout the whole EP, is it an EP?
Yeah, it's EP.
Yeah, it's an EP. So throughout
It's
the whole EP, what I noticed is, first off, their audio quality has never been better in terms of, you know, just sounding good.
Yeah.
But the other thing is that they're so big right now and so mainstream that they can do whatever the fuck they want. And they're so talented that they're doing it right.
They have that right because don't forget they did the recording during the COVID lockdown. They were uploading every week, I think, a few
Like
videos.
behind the scenes.
Yeah, behind the
Yeah,
scenes,
yeah, yeah.
and you could see them. They were only doing it to get the perfection out of it. They were just insane, repeating. Also, even before they dropped the Parasite Eve, you know, the famous song which starts with Bulgarian.
Yeah.
Needs
Wait,
of-
did you know that?
Oh yeah, did you know that? What?
Yeah, you told me, Dimitar, in one of our previous podcasts.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, and before the release of the song, I think it was around 1 or 2 months ago. Oli and the other guy, I always forget his name. You know, the one who is behind
The keyboard guy.
The keyboard guy, yeah. Both
Jordan
for-
Fisher.
Yeah, Jordan Fisher.
Yeah, Jordan Fisher. Yeah, they both were recording stuff, and Oli was checking some samples of the things he liked and picked and saved. and in the middle of the video he plays that song, and of course all Bulgarians are wow, no, Oli likes Bulgarian stuff, Bulgarian folklore music, and like a month later they release Parasite Thief, and it starts with this piece, and it's amazing, dude. You just feel proud that you're Bulgarian in that moment.
It's one good thing.
Yeah, we give awesome music to the world.
Yeah, another thing is that what I'm noticing is, and I'm hoping that this trend is going to keep evolving, that it seems like they're getting back to the heavy sound. Maybe not like the Pray for Plague sound, but you know,
No.
it's no Ammo, even though Ammo is a great album, and I grew to like it pretty much. But I'm happy that they're getting back some screams, you know, good breakdowns, maybe even
Exactly.
blast beats.
They will never go back to their oldest self, but yeah, maybe Oli was really affected by the fans' reaction about emo and all the songs in it. I admit, I'm really one of the haters. I'm not ashamed to admit it, but really, most of the people, their hardcore fans, liked it, and for them, this is the most important thing. But in the end, I also hope they continue to keep involving the heaviness in their sound, because it just doesn't sound like them if they are always radio friendly playing songs.
Yeah. What was the name of the song? I think it was in Ammo that they're actually addressing this.
Oh,
It's called heavy metal.
Heavy metal?
oh, heavy metal,
Yeah.
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 And of course, almost all musicians, famous cover musicians, made metalcore cover, deathcore cover, a hardcore cover, new metal cover of this heavy metal song, just
Well,
to
yeah.
mess with them.
Yeah. I mean, how big must you be to, you know, just say, fuck it, I'm going to do a baby metal featuring song.
Yeah, that big. But they're friends, dude. I don't know if you're aware, they're really good friends with baby metal.
I don't. You're the
Yeah.
guy with the knowledge.
Yeah.
They did a tour opening for Baby Metal, and they bonded really well. It was across
Yeah.
Japan, and then
Mhm.
they had it booked where Baby Metal was going to be working with Bring Me if COVID hadn't happened, and then they had them out for the song that Kingslayer. But the interesting thing about Kingslayer too is Baby Metal actually wrote it entirely in Japanese, and when Ollie got the Japanese version of the lyrics and their performance for the chorus and everything, he went to them and requested, oh, we wanted Japanese. So then
Yeah.
that's when they went back and rewrote some of it in Japanese, because it was actually originally all in English, and they just assumed that because it was an English band, that they should stick to English, but Ollie was actually hoping that it was going to be Japanese as well.
Yeah. Maybe it's because it sounds more exotic to the majority of their fans, and they want to keep it to keep the original sound. Because if you know, for example, let me remind you, Tattoo. Do you remember that those two Russian chicks?
I do, but I don't know if
Yeah.
Wyatt's ever heard of them.
I don't know if Wyatt know them. Do
Who's
you
this?
know Tattoo?
It's called Tattoo, and
Tattoo.
they were like in late 90s, early 2000s. There were just two girls, singers, rock singers,
Yeah, and
and
playing lesbians.
yeah, their gimmick was that they're, you know, lesbians or something,
Yeah.
so they can get more likes. And you can imagine in early 2000s how controversial that is.
Yeah, and attractive for the majority of the people.
Yeah.
So they had their Russian album, all the songs recorded in Russian, and because they saw they had potential, and their label reissued the album in English. It was re-recorded with words, and just doesn't sound the same when it's in English and in Russian.
Not
And
all-
even their fans, they like it more when it sounds in Russian, more better than in English.
Yeah, not only that. I mean, I came to the understanding that the Asian and the Japanese in particular audience and scene is pretty fucking huge,
Yeah.
and keeping some of the, you know, Japanese in the song maybe is to appeal to a broader audience.
Yeah.
because
I think that it's probably just because the art calls for it. I don't think that when you're a band the size of Bring Me the Horizon, you don't do things from a monetary aspect because you are done making money. There's no point. You do things because it speaks to you and because this is where the art's flowing from. You don't care how many dollars you make this. Okay, I made $6 million last year. Let's make $7 million this year. You don't give a fuck about that. It's not Walmart. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
yeah, makes sense.
Makes a reason. Maybe that's the bigger reason.
Yeah.
To do it.
And I think you can say that for their sound too, because when they stopped going heavy was when everything was right with the world, and now we have a metal record because everything is wrong with the world again, and it calls for that, you know.
Yeah.
So yeah,
It's like the Batman logo in the sky.
Yeah. It's like people are already too miserable because of COVID. Let's give them some heavy.
Yeah.
well that's exactly it, right? Like think about it.
Yes.
Like we have political unrest in the world right now. Like we haven't seen. Well, we've
Yeah.
definitely seen it before, but we haven't seen this level in a long
Yeah.
while. And for the first time in a long while, System of a Down has come out of retirement. The political band, the kings of writing political, right? So it's like it's when we're talking about art on the
Yeah.
world stage at a level like what we're discussing right now. A lot of it is going to come down to these aspects. It's going to come down to the climate of what people need overall, right? And when you look
Yeah.
back to the eras where metal, punk rock, and these fringe genres, these intense genres were taking off, there was a lot of political unrest or just unrest in the world that was fueling these sort of movements and revolutions, both in fashion, visual arts, dance, and then of course in music.
Yeah. I mean, mostly music. Because the easiest way to express yourself nowadays is music, because it doesn't require additional stuff. You just stay at home in the
Wait.
Right.
I was about to say,
No, I mean,
before you listen to a song, you see how somebody's dressed. That's how you express yourself first and foremost.
Yeah, but when you have a lockdown, you can see many people around the streets. Of course,
Agreed.
you can broadcast yourself in front of the camera, but I mean, most people take it like music is kind of more artistic than dressing. I hope Lindsay doesn't hear that.
Yeah, you're in big trouble.
She's going
Yeah.
to kill you.
Yeah, just my opinion. I mean, I believe this is the majority what thinks. I might be wrong, but this is just my opinion. And if you look at the music aspect, you can see Rage Against the Machine became active. Exactly what Wyatt said. When the things got wrong and worse, they somehow resurrected. There's even a huge scam about this. Someone, I don't know who, no one connected to the band, of course, was spreading fake news about some huge world tour that was gonna involve only 5 to 10 cities around the world, and the prices of the tickets were like 200
Oh, I heard that one.
Yeah, and of course in the end they said nothing of this is true, and many people were disappointed, and it was a big mess.
What was
And
it again? The price of the tickets?
the price of the tickets was around 250, and people were mad because you know Zach De La Rocha is one of the biggest enemies of
Anti-capitalist?
yeah, anti-capitalist, and they were like, dude, you come back in the worst time with the
With
idiot-
greed.
with greed. Yeah, everyone
wait,
expects
who
you
was
to
this?
motivate people.
What band was the rumor?
Rage Against the Machine.
Oh no way! What the fuck?
Yeah,
No way!
dude, yeah, it was insane, dude. You can search it on Google.
Yeah, I
They
heard
were-
that
I did-
rumor
I
too.
heard about it.
Yeah, many
Lindsay,
articles.
Lindsay came across something to do with that. We were discussing. I couldn't remember the band though. Couldn't remember the
Yeah.
band. I think we even talked about this last week, Dimitar. Did we not? Or the week before?
I don't think so. The week before, we were talking with Lindsay about clothing, so I don't think so.
I heard the podcast. You didn't mention any of this. But my point was that many bands resurrected exactly because of what Wyatt said in time of
Great
big,
turmoil.
disease. Yeah, exactly, great turmoil, and also System of a Down, dude. people are waiting like how many 15 years or so, and they released their new music like last week or the week before, and while releasing it they were gathering funds to help with some causes. Well, they are personal or some global causes, but the fact is that their all videos were marked. Well, when you look at the video, you can donate, etc., etc., etc.
I think that this global isolation and no concerts and what we were talking with Wyatt and Anthony Gazelle, I don't know how it's pronounced, Wyatt.
Gazelle, you had it.
Yeah. So we were talking about the absence of live shows,
Yeah.
the uncertainty if there is ever going to, well, not ever, because that's pretty strong, but if anytime soon there's going to be live shows and all this, and pretty much every band is severely impacted by this because nowadays they don't sell CDs, merch and whatever you can scrape off of Spotify is pretty much what you can get.
Exactly. They offer it, but
yeah, and I think that even the big names, maybe not for monetary reasons, but they saw that this is their chance because right now people are sitting in front of their computers, sitting on their phone all day because everybody's bored, everybody is locked down in one way or another, and I just think that this is the perfect environment for music to emerge because
if you think about it, many bands released epic bangers exactly during the COVID, dude. Their albums 100%. Were just destroying everything. I mean, I can list shitload of bands, but I mean they had the time, they had the motivation because after all they have no other things to do, and in the end this helps them to catch up because some bands it take them like 2, 3, 4 or more years to release an album, and right now they need like a couple of months or maybe 5 or 6 months to record it, polish it and release it, which is great,
which leads me to another point that and I think Wyatt will be, especially Wyatt will be agreeing with me on that for creativity and for art to flourish, you need time, you need rest, you need to now that everybody's at home and the home studio or whatever, and they have all the time in the world that they need, now the bangers come up, they're not pressured or maybe not as much, and you can see the difference. I mean, for example, the Architect song. I mean, it's pretty simple for what they were doing so far. The sound is a little different in my opinion, but I think it's absolutely genius in terms of composition. The breakdown is simple yet effective, and it's not just a full album of similar songs, and sometimes you get even similar sounding breakdowns in one album, which is insane.
Yeah, even some people blame them that before Holy Hell, their 2 or 3 previous albums sound the same. To me, it's not like that, but maybe most of the people.
You've just heard a lot of bands.
Yeah.
Architects,
not me.
Previous albums.
Yeah, Architects' previous 2 or 3 albums. Many people, I mean, metalcore fans mainly, are expressing that opinion because I follow a few pages like this, and I like to scroll through the comments, and I was shocked actually because many people have big respect for Architects, and they love all their songs, all their albums, no weak song in any album, and then you find out that many fans think about it like a few albums sound exactly the same as the others, and I was dude, we all like this. Why would we hate on this? Everybody wants a few albums one after another that have similar heaviness, similar breakdowns. Not because we don't like the changes, but because as a simple fan, you always like to hear what you expect. So when you hear new song like Animal, you're like, oh well, this is not what I expected. But in fact, I dare to say they kept their I don't know how to explain it, like their lyrics. The passion in their lyrics is the same, like the previous every previous song. But the sound, as Dimitar said,
There was no bleh, by the way.
Yeah, there's After all, Sam Carter posted a few months ago that he regrets inventing this because now everybody's using it, and
was he the one? Did he invent
he thinks
it?
it's not the best.
I think he popularized it. I don't know if he
I don't think he
invented it.
invented it. No, I don't think so.
Maybe he blames himself for popularizing it, as Dimitar said. Not inventing it, my bad, but for making.
But when you use it in every single
famous
song, it catches.
Yeah.
It catches up.
Yeah, when you hear it, your first thought is, "Oh, is this Architects?" Or not? And as we speak about them, just want to add something else about the bands struggling during the COVID situation. This month, I think next week or was this week, they have online concert, which actually has tickets. You can buy a ticket to get access to their concert, and I believe they are booked someplace where to and how some bands like Architects are still making money by selling online tickets.
I think Motionless in White had a concert.
Yeah, Motionless in White had a concert. Devil Wears Prada did a concert. Ice Nine Kills did a concert.
Exactly.
A lot of bands, dude.
Yeah.
Just about all of them at this point. It's getting crazy. Tala did an online concert, actually, streamed on Twitch.
Oh, dude, I watched that concert. It was
good.
I've never heard or listened to Tala.
I have two reactions. Go check them out.
Yeah, check them out, dude. Actually, I saw those
good.
reactions. Really good reactions, right?
Oh, thank you so much. I mean, they wrote the music. I just listened to it, but I appreciate it.
Yeah, we do pretty much all the same.
By the way, you said about you talked about the fans, simple fans like all of us are. They have nothing against hearing the same shit over and over again, but I beg to differ because and this is kind of a more of a philosophical question, but do fans actually know what they want? Because and I'm gonna tell you why. Because
I'd say no, but go ahead.
I think no too, because I don't know if you listen to the new wage war, which is it's not new, it's
the new old wage war.
The new old wage war.
Beside wage war.
And it's an awesome song. I mean, I really liked it, but I was not nearly as excited, and I was not nearly as amazed by it. Not because it's a bad song, but because it's something that I've already heard.
Yeah, but you still bang on it, right?
Yeah, for sure. I have a reaction that hasn't been posted yet. It'll be up tomorrow, I believe. Oh. It's for that New Wage War track, and I loved it.
Yeah, I loved it too, but
everyone loves it. Exactly. Your fans, your simple, natural fans,
it's old news.
Loves it. But if you
it's old news. And I did say that in the video. I said, it is what, I'm not. I said in the video, I'm not as pumped as you guys will see tomorrow. I don't want to paraphrase myself. I'm not gonna get it right.
But don't spoil it for us.
Yeah, I did really enjoy it. You know what? Let's just go back to Dimitar. What was your point on this?
Yeah, well, that was exactly my point. That I don't think that fans actually know what they want, even though they claim it, because they say that they want to hear the same thing over and over again, and this is how bands are getting less and less listened to, because I've said it a lot of times. Take August Burns Red for example. Terrific musicians. What? They're
Which
probably
band?
August Burns Red.
Oh, okay,
Yeah. Especially Mike Griner, Wyatt knows it. I love him.
Yeah.
but I
So
mean,
boring.
that's
yeah.
the
I'm
same.
fucking sick and tired of whitewash, dog. We need a
the
new song.
same one song for the last 15 years.
That's what Lindsay says. She goes to see them live and she's like, it's just one song for 45 minutes. I'm like, yep. And that's
Absolutely.
and I'll be in the pit for it for all 45, but nonetheless.
Yeah. And this is how you lose popularity. I mean, as sad as it gets, August Burns Reds are not so listened nowadays, or at least this is what the numbers in Spotify and YouTube show us. And I'm attributing this to exactly to this. No diversity, nothing new.
Yeah.
And
But let me give you an example which is the opposite. Of course, again, I am more biased by the way, but I can give you an example with Emir. You know Emir, I hope. So, dude, Emir has literally, as Lindsay said about the that concert, they also have albums that sound like one song. Frankie keeps it the same level of heaviness, the same level of screams and such, but in the end they keep getting one of the top spots on the festivals, which means they still have the same popularity. They didn't lost fans at all, but of course the negative thing is that they didn't gain new fans. Also their haters are the same. They keep joking with them about the zeros and the ones and so on, but in the end they release an album which is like maybe 10 songs or so, like their last album, and people still listen to it because it's Emir. They have like a label. When it's labeled Emir, it's fucking heavy, it's fucking brutal, and
but when the same 100 people are listening to you, is it really a good thing?
Well, I mean they still they still live on this. I mean they don't have other jobs. So if they have enough money from this,
that's not true at all.
Dude,
that's not true.
About
they 100% work day jobs, man. They got look. They dropped an album. They dropped a song 3 months ago, and I got 170,000 views. Okay, that's like, that's not. They have the same 100 people over and over.
At least
they're not. That's not growing.
Oh, okay, but maybe I may be wrong. But at least about Frankie, I don't know if he has any other jobs because he does all the other stuff that people like you do. I mean, he used to do Twitch streams and similar things, and also I'm really shocked how many interviews he was taken. I mean, so many people wanted to interview like their new album or something big, but it was their typical album. Yeah.
I don't want to name names, but there are bands that are 5 to 6 times the size of Emir, where every member is still delivering for UPS or something off the road. Okay. And I'm not going to name names on the podcast. I'll tell you about them after. Yeah. Some of them we even actually mentioned today so far in this podcast. But the ability to make money on a scale of this band is extremely, extremely difficult. It's very, very hard, especially when you have so many mouths to feed and you have such a tight relationship with somebody who's taking the majority of your funds. Like depending on how the label is structured their contract, they're probably getting maybe 30% of all that they get. And that 30% has to get divided up between their booking agent, their manager, their agent, then 5 members of the band. And most of the time, 1 or 2 members will take the majority of it because they'll get the most of the writing credits. And then after all that, it's barely even pennies for some of the members in those bands. So like, it's a very, very difficult place to be in if you don't have extremely, extremely large scale numbers to live off of.
Yeah.
By the way, on that regard, Wyatt, is it true that Motionless in White are actually hiring Vinny for touring only and for videos, and the drums are just programmed or something?
Yeah, of course. No, not programmed. They have session drummers. Like I think it was the drummer from In This Moment tracked the drums for Disguise. I think it was him. But they had a session drummer come in. Vinny's he's a touring drummer. Okay, so here's how it works. A lot of people don't understand this, but in our scene, bands usually are just 1 or 2 people. and then everybody else is hired. Like I Prevail is only 3 guys. Then all the other members are just hired. Okay, so to be a full-time member of a band, usually you are either the songwriter, the main songwriter, the vocalist, or you're maybe the business person who structured the band aside from the songwriter and the vocalist. And then usually outside of that, everybody else is just hired on for tours. Vinny is an example, well, at least to my knowledge, because everything they do as a band that you see them in, there's only 3 members. There's Ricky, Ryan, and Chris.
Yeah.
And I think that's the core of the band, is those 3 who are the songwriters. Outside of those 3, the rest of the guys are just, they're hired guns who show up when they're told and play what they're told to play and stand where they're told to stand. And there's nothing wrong with that. That's what I do, for God's sakes, you know? And that can be more advantageous at times, because if the ship goes down, you don't have to go down with it. You have 3 other ships in your back pocket, right?
Yeah.
You save face. Yeah.
Exactly, and there's lots of bands like that. Like Falling in Reverse is another example. Falling in Reverse is not a band; it's Ronnie Radke and 5 hired musicians, right?
Yeah.
Black Veil Brides is not a band; it's Andy Six and 5 hired musicians. Now, if you're listening to this and you know differently about some of those examples, well, excuse me, but to the best of my knowledge, that's how some of those projects are structured. And does that make? And then there's, to the contrast, there's bands like Asking, which are 100% 5 ways. But I know their financial breakdown. At least I've been told rumors, and they're not 100% each member either when it comes to the finances, even though each member is technically a full-time member of the band. So every band is 100% different, but usually in our scene it comes down to 1 or 2 guys who sort of do everything, and everybody else just shows up when they need to show up and moves forward. And that's the most common structure across the board when it comes to these projects.
Yeah, very interesting. I didn't know most of the things. Some I was thinking it's possible, but now you totally changed my mind, which is great. Exactly why we're here to discuss things like that. But really,
exactly,
sometimes you just have the impression, maybe the wrong impression, but as you said, one thing like Emure is frank. The others come and go, but as you know, Josh Travis has many other side projects, and I'm sure he makes most of his money from his side projects, not from Emure. Same goes for the drummer, but I forgot his name. Who has that project Darko with Tom Barber, and you know they have some side project. The drummer of Emure and Tom Barber of Chelsea Green. I hope you know that, which is a very nice side project. And I think those who have many side projects, they are maybe really making money mainly from the music. But those that are in a band, I guess most of them have other real day jobs, as you said.
That's so sad.
Yeah.
Dude, there's no money in any of this shit. Just to, let you guys know, there's no money. Like, I've been on the side of the things. I haven't been to these levels because I saw that there was no money, and I was like, well, you know, I'm out. You know,
Going to YouTube.
Yeah, exactly, right? There's a shit ton of money in YouTube. Dimitar knows all about that, but but these bands, like, yeah, if we want to talk about, like, that's a hard place to talk about, but there's very all right, let me put it in perspective for you, real simple. Metalcore, as far as making cash, is one of the smallest areas and least profitable areas of the music industry. The music industry worldwide is in such a poor state when it comes to making money that in the year that Grand Theft Auto 5 came out, it made more than the entire global music industry that year in the first 2 weeks of sales.
Yeah.
That's how little money there is in music. It's not like these guys are not, you know, only the top of the top of the top, like the Avril Lavignes and the fucking One Directions are really balling in shit tons of cash. And even those guys, they don't really make a lot because they're in such gross fucking awful financial deals that the labels back them into and trick them into, that most of their cash gets stolen from them anyways. So to make a living in this is extreme. You have to wear every hat. You have to wear every hat. Like guys like Macklemore, he can make a shit ton of cash. No label, wears every hat. He's his own booking agent. He's his own everything. He's the CEO of the Macklemore company, you know. And there's examples of that. Ronnie Radke's an example of that. He makes a fuck ton of money, you know. Even in a genre that doesn't make a ton of cash, he makes a fuck ton. But that's because he wears every hat and he's smart enough, business sense, to know how to do it.
Does that hit home, Wyatt?
Yeah.
Oh yeah, of course. I mean, where do you think I got it all from?
Also, I dare to say from Zua, from Attila. He also makes tons
Oh
of
yeah.
cash. He was
Yeah,
the, I
at
think
least he wants people to believe that.
or yeah,
No,
yeah,
he
of
does.
course.
He does. Yeah.
He does. I mean, I think he was pronounced as the first in that scene who made $1 million. I mean, in valuables, not owning all that 1 million, but just having it as a wealth.
Like just being valued at in the metalcore
Yeah, he
scene.
was
The
valued
first
at 1 mil. Which
the
is
first
a lot.
metalcore band to be valued at $1 million was the Devil Wears Prada.
Really? Oh, dude.
Yeah, they were the first.
I have a story about them, which is also sad. Fuck me. I mean, a few years ago, the Devils Wears Prada announced that they were gonna have a date to their Europe. Will be crowded to buy my ticket early, so they won't end. And in the end, because I got to know the person who organizes it, and like the Bulgarian promoter, and he told me that in that evening the venue had like 700 people limit and only 190 appeared, and I was like, what? Like the Devils Wears Prada, like one of the main bands from metalcore, and the people that I expected, I mean the number of people I expected to come, they never showed up, and it was big bummer because they put an awesome show. They just blew us away. It was amazing. And if you said that they had 1 mil, I am still shocked because they don't seem like to have that money in them.
Gotcha.
Yeah. So I think that pretty much this is due to the fact that music production is so widely available, and you know, the gap between not knowing what how everything is working and making your own song is getting smaller and smaller. And I was talking the other day with I don't remember anymore with who, but the topic was about that. I was saying that the bands like Metallica, Megadeth, whatever, where they start from a garage, their first EP or album sucks ass, Saint Anger snare and stuff like this, and but they still get attraction and eventually grow into these mega bands. These days are over. I mean, now, if you sound like shit, no, if you don't sound as good as Architects, you're just tossed to the wayside. You get 2,000 listeners a month, and that's it. This is where you're gonna stay for life, just because you don't sound good. So, yeah.
And
100%. It's because it's because the old gatekeepers are gone. It used to be that. Who's scratching their mic?
It's me. Sorry.
Oh, you're good. You're good. The old gatekeepers. That was intense in my eardrum. The old
ASMR.
Yeah, exactly. That was ASMR Dimitar neck scratches. The old gatekeepers are gone in the sense that used to be that you needed a backload of money, and now these days a pretty well produced record can cost $50,000, and to me, that's an extraordinary amount of money. To a lot of people, that's the price of a car. Yeah. But when we're talking about maybe 5 individuals, and maybe 5 individuals who save for a good amount of years, it can be done by really anybody if you think about it. If you can get 5 guys together and each of them can save up $10,000, you can put that together a $50,000 record, and with $50,000, you can get real drums tracked by a very high quality professional drummer, a guy like Luke Holland or any of these really fantastic session drummers. You can get 1 to 2 vocal engineers to help write the melodies, a vocal producer to help write the lyrics. You can get an instrumental producer to write all the songs for you if you need help with the songs, whatever the case is. You can pretty much get everything done either for you or a lot of help with you to make a really top-notch record. So because of that, like, we're in this weird place where everybody can do it. Anybody who wants to do it, they can do it now. But the gatekeeper is no longer the record labels, the industry. The gatekeeper is traction. Can you get traction? Can you get clicks? Can you inspire Spotify listens? Can you inspire YouTube plays? Can you inspire ticket sales? That's now where it comes down to. So that's what you see is you see these guys come out with everything packaged as if they're just another project, like you would see back in the old days in the 80s. They'd come out with the same packaging, same production value, same everything, but they don't take off because the gatekeeper is the fans, and the fans don't care because you don't have a proven product. You haven't been doing it long enough. You haven't, put the hours in that you needed to. You kind of took the shortcut, and everybody can take it now. So that causes an incredible amount of oversaturation. When you have a genre of music as oversaturated as ours, you're going to get a shit ton of music that is released, but not all of it's going to be top notch like it used to be, where everything you listen to that you can find at record stores was to a specific standard. It's not like that anymore.
Yeah, that's true.
I totally agree. Yeah, because people before were for them it was like Christmas when they hear, for example, Metallica is gonna have a concert in their town, or they're gonna sing somewhere at some music store. Right now, there are no music stores right now. I mean, they're on the internet, and no one gets that feeling you're close to the band. And even right now, I think even concerts are pretty overrated, because in the old days, I mean really old days, before we were born, I mean, people didn't have the same access to music. They were like hoping someone to know someone else who can save some vinyl for them and not sell it to the other guy next to you or something like that. And they had more value. I mean, they really had a lot more respect for the music. Right now, as Wyatt said, everyone can have a record, everyone can make some songs at home. The technology is advanced, and there are many copycats, dude. Because I listen almost daily new metalcore bands, new deathcore bands, and they all had like a few singles, and they start spamming through Facebook ads, Instagram ads, name it, every social media, Twitter ads, and they spam their new music. They spam their new video, which is shot for like $2K or $4K dollars, and they got like a loan from their friends, and you play their music, and you're like, oh dude, I listened to that song, or this song reminds me of 300 more songs like this, right? So right now, this is the main issue. Many bands sound like other bands, and which is the saddest for me. Metalcore genre and deathcore genre are exactly in that place right now. They're just producing shitload of new bands sounding the same. I still love it, as I said, as a simple fan. I still love if I find, for example, 3 more bands who are trying to sound like Architects or to sound like old Bring Me the Horizon. But in the end, if you think about that, if everyone can do that, you get so many new songs and bands. And as I said yesterday to Dimitar, I already don't remember most of the bands I listened to. I literally don't remember.
There's just too much.
Yeah, if I shuffle and I don't know who is singing, I like the song, or I listened to this 1 month ago, but if you ask me which is the band and which is the song, I just stay and watch the window.
There's a quote from a Disney movie. Have you guys seen The Incredibles?
Yeah.
Oh, not the entire movies. Both movies.
The first movie about 2/3 in, there's a quote from the supervillain, whose plan is to give everybody the tools they need to be super, so everyone can be super. And the quote goes, when everyone's super,
Nobody is.
no one will be, exactly. And that's
Yeah.
I feel like that could be the title of this episode, because that's kind of what it's come down to, right? Is that now that everyone has the tools, we got a lot of mediocrity, and you got to really know your shit, like Bring Me the Horizon, to be able to rise out of the masses. And Bring Me the Horizon is an interesting example of going back to what we were talking about before. They're in bed with nobody. They're independent. They produce themselves. They market themselves, distribute themselves. They're the CEOs of their company. So, yeah, they're doing it the right way. And the way that should be done, because, like, the fact that I can get on here and make a living with what I do in content creation and the things that I do means that you can do this as a band as well. And every band can. You just have to have the organizational skills. You have to have the business mindset. You have to have the couple, not a lot, just the couple prerequisites that go along with being able to maintain a career like mine. And then you're set. As a band, you're good. You run your own distribution. You run your own marketing. You run your own. Everything's in-house, taken care of, and done. And the cash flow comes back to you at the end of the day, which is the most powerful part of it, because cash in, cash out is key.
Absolutely, yeah. And I think that with this said, and we have our name for the podcast, it's a good time for us to wrap it up, because it's already 50 minutes, and yeah, it was a
Already
blast.
50 minutes. Yeah, it was nice.
Time flies.
Awesome.
Well done, gentlemen. My apologies again for being late to this one.
That's
no
fine.
problem, dude.
Thank you very much.
I thank you also for the honor to join this podcast. It was quite interesting.
Yeah, it was awesome having you on. Thank you. Do I have you on Discord? Oh, I have you on Dimitar's server.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Okay.
I'm doing. Yeah.
Are you Dan? No. What's your screen name
I'm
on here?